Alright guys, welcome to the welcome to the ARC 25% League. F25, I believe this is round 4 or 5. We're at Silverstone today, so we're going to have this is just the remnants of the 18-minute qualifying session that will determine the grid for our 25% race, and then following that we will have a reverse grid with the finishing order of the race, and we will have a 5-lapper also here in Silverstone, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And as of now, we've got Righteous Fire on pole position with Babushka almost 7/10 back. And Doth Thou Hoist, that 128.0, is also on medium. So now that he's put on the softs, he might be able to challenge for pole. We'll see. And then, of course, we've got Rogue, who is opting for the medium strategy here, who has yet to set a lap that was not on hards and with ERS. So he's going to be trying to get up the field and go on the counter strategy with those mediums, as is Rosefest and Sandro, it would appear. So we'll ride on board with Rogue here as he comes through the final 2-3 turns, whatever you want to call them. And so this right here is definitely a very easy place to make or break a lap. If you lose the rear end or you don't get enough, and he looks like he does it perfectly. And then, of course, here you want to make sure that you're braking near the rumble strip, and then you want to touch that curb on the inside, and then run out super wide here, kind of come back and almost touch the inside, which he does a great job of. He struggles to get the power down. That's partly just going to be those mediums. You're pushing so much in qualifying, your tires aren't really with you quite at that point. So now as we come down into whatever this turn is, I can't remember the name of it. All I know is Cops and Maggots and Beckets. That is the extent of my knowledge of this track. This is a double apex turn, so you want to run deep and then make sure that you're able to get the power down. He does not do that. He kind of takes it like a single corner, not horrible, but maybe just distracted by Bacon Sushi, who gets out of the way in front of him after having a swim in the gravel trap. And he's going to try to go flat through Cops. I think he does a decent job, but of course downshifting, so not totally flat. Then through Maggots and Beckets, totally flat through the first one, slowing down. Yeah, to make sure you get the rotation through there, downshifting, and then back on the power, running out a bit wide there. So he does a great job through Maggots and Beckets, now down the hanger straight, which I also do remember, so boom. And then whatever this turn is, followed up by the next turn, and then whatever that turn is after that, and then the line there. So he doesn't run out wide here. I think the game got more stringent on those track limits. I know previously you were able to pretty much run out wherever you wanted there without a warning. He cuts a bit there, but I don't think that's going to be a penalty. That's just a really shallow line. He struggles to get the power down, and he sets a 128.6, putting him in 8th position on those medium tires. We've got Righteous Fire coming out of the pits to improve on his pole time of a 127.1. We've got Figlin up in 2nd place with a 127.6, a phenomenal lap from Figlin, a great job from him. Doth and Guzman both looking like contenders for pole position here today, and they are also on outlaps on their fresh set of soft tires. Babu crosses the line with a 127.6 to take 2nd position from Figlin, but not challenge for pole position. So Righteous also most likely going to be able to improve. Guzman and Doth Thou, I think, are going to be able to improve quite a bit if they don't get compromised on their lap. Okay, and I just had like 8 sneezes there, so no big deal. And so yeah, Rogue down in 8th position, so he's going to have to fight his way through the field initially if he wants to make that strategy really work, as most of those people on softs are going to pit early and get that clean air, which you don't have the advantage of on those mediums necessarily unless you find yourself very far back or very far in front. So we'll see what he's able to do. Solace only able to do a 129 flat on those soft tires. And so we will ride on board with Guzman now, who's starting his flying lap. So again, going nice and on the inside there, and then running out wide. And you want to go a little bit more inside than he did there. It just allows you to get on the power that much earlier. But still, a nice way to take that. As Madman gets out of his way here, as we come into this corner, that is a corner. You also kind of want to be running wide on the entry there, and then that gives you a nice wider line through the apex, so you can put the power down much earlier. Same with here. Yeah, just going a bit deeper into the actual corner allows you to get the power down much earlier, but still, a good lap from him so far. Looks like he is definitely on track to improve his, so he downshifts and throws the car a bit late. You're going to want to be running a bit wider on entry. Again, that's kind of the name of the game. The name of the game here at Silverstone is to run out wider and get a faster line through the middle of it. As the checkered flag drops, that's going to be curtains for Babushka and Figlin's attempts on pole position. And so now it's up to Guzman. Doth thou only use my dad Sandro on those fresh, soft tires to see what they can do lap time wise, which is the entire point of qualifying. And so Sandro bumps himself up to second position with a 127.470. That's still about 3/10 shy of pole position. We'll see what Guzman's about to set as he comes across the line here, and he backs off. He's going to want to start on the mediums. But now we've got Doth Thou Hoist coming down the hanger straight. Madman retires from the session. And so he's the last one, really, who's going to be able to fight for pole position. So we'll... not much more to be said other than to watch him finish his lap here. So, and he does not improve. That is interesting. Did not expect that. So Righteous Fire, our pole sitter, and Rogue bumped himself up into 5th position on those medium tires. So he's now in a great position. I didn't realize he was still out. I thought he pitted. So great job from him to get himself up into 5th position on the harder tire. Only a 10th off Figlin on the softs, and only 6/10 off pole position, relatively speaking. So now, this is our starting grid here, and yeah, we will see what will happen in turn 1. Crucially, very hard to go too wide, and so if Righteous doesn't get a good start and Sandro does, that is going to be quite interesting to watch. Alright, so this is going to be our starting grid, our top 5 being Righteous Fire, Sandro, Babushka, Figlin, and Rogue. Rogue crucially on those medium tires, which in theory will give him a giant advantage if he can manage to stay with the front runners whilst on those medium tires. If he falls back a little bit, it should balance out quite a bit. And then, of course, if there's a safety car on those mediums, he has far more flexibility that way. So we're getting pretty close to getting underway here for the round. Why I should have known what round it is, but I have no idea. The F25 here in Silverstone, followed by the 5-lapper. So again, make sure you stay tuned to watch that at the end. As far as I'm concerned, it has been vaguely more entertaining than the. It's very action-packed 5 laps because the points are similar, being instead of 1 through 10 scoring points, 1 through 8 scoring points, a la Formula 2. So. Yeah, people, a lot of points up for grabs if you can, especially for the people who had trouble in the 25% race, able to start further up the grid and capitalize on that and get some points at the end. So, yeah, this should be a formation lap. Yes, and it looks like it is. So Righteous is going to take them off from pole position. One of the racing points jumping the formation lap. You love to see it. It's fairly common nowadays. And, yeah, so very important to get your tires warmed up here, especially for turn 1. You want to have warm tires where that lateral bite's not going to be there and you're going to run super wide. This isn't as bad as a 50% or, God forbid, 100% here. With the amount of fuel you're going to have that you're not used to after being in qualifying, having pretty much no fuel in the car to now the max fuel. So 25 shouldn't be too bad. As long as he gets some tire temps in there, he should be fine on lateral grip into turn 1, especially, again, with not that much fuel. And so, yeah, everybody looks like they're weaving down the straights to get some temp into their tires into their temp. And, of course, Rogue's going to have to do pretty much what they're doing and then some because he's on those medium tires, which warm a lot slower. And so if he wants to get a good getaway and either gain positions or just not lose positions, he's going to need to be doing work that the other drivers really don't need to be doing. So, but he opts to go slow. I think he's trying to save his tires, I guess, saving a little bit of wear on them, wants to go as long on them as possible. So maybe not worried about the positions he's going to get on the first lap, but instead staying safe and letting his strategy come into play. So we will see how that works. Yeah, and then down the field we've got Van Beets in 15th. That is surprising. No name down there in the back, but we saw him have a great recovery drive in Brazil, so we'll see if he can do that. Bob Ross actually led a few laps in Singapore, so a phenomenal job from him after a safety car. Solis, yeah, this looks like a fairly competitive grid. So, yeah, we will see what they're able to do in the race. You don't get points for qualifying, so those people in the back with a well-timed safety car or just, you know, overall having the much better race pace than qualifying pace could easily come through here. And then, of course, the 5-lapper, another great chance to get some points if you didn't make it up the grid in the 25% race. So let's go back up the field here. Detail. Wonk. There we go. As the leaders are forming to their grid slots, Righteous Fire going to take us off from pole position. Sandro right alongside him, or behind him technically. Babushka and Figlin round out the second row of the grid. Rogue and Only Use My Dad on the third row. Guzman and Dothau on the fourth row. So we'll see what any of these guys can do as the last car is on the grid here. And we've got a light, 2 lights, 3 lights. The lights are out, and we are racing in Silverstone. It looks like Figlin got an amazing start from the back there. Let's ride on board with him as he looks to the inside of Sandro. As we're going almost 3 wide into turn 1, Sandro runs out wide. Righteous Fire getting a clean getaway from pole position. Sandro able to get back onto the track and secure that position. Really well done from him. As we come into turn 2, it looks like Rogue might have already had wing damage as the Haas of Babushka forces another driver wide there. Rogue trying to go around the outside, and Babushka pushes him off the track, and Rogue is now going to lose 3 positions, it looks like. Nope, but he able to get the power in the slipstream. He's going to be able to fight those back. He's looking for a move on Babushka here as he swerves to the inside. Babushka goes late on the brakes. Rogue spins out, loses the rears, able to save it after a lot of contact with Babushka. Only Is My Dad now looking to get both positions. And also, so is Guzman, who's sliding down the inside there, having a tough time getting on the power, getting a lot of oversteer out of that corner as we go into Cops. Now we'll see if these tires are going to hold up or if they don't have enough tempo. Oh, wow, that almost looked like contact from Only Use My Dad and Rogue, but it looks like they're fine. Up the field, we've got Figlin rounding out the podium positions. Sandro and Righteous all looking secure in their positions for the time being as Babushka, Rogue, Only Use My Dad, and Guzman in a 4-way fight, and that's allowed Madman. Oh! As Only Use My Dad, wow, really bungles Beckett's and or Chapel, and it gets onto the grass and I think destroys the DRS sign and loses a few positions there in the meantime. So now we've got Rogue and Guzman going wheel to wheel after the hanger straight, whatever corner this name is, I have no idea. And so Rogue, I think he's got the position. No, they're still wheel to wheel, but yeah, Rogue cuts a bit early and is going to block out Guzman from the rest of the corner, and Righteous Fire down into 10th position. What happened there? And Figlin too, so there was definitely some contact with Sandro and Righteous Fire. Figlin is now the leader of this race with Babushka in second place and Rogue rounding off the podium positions. What happened to Righteous Fire from pole position and Sandro from second position now in 11th and 13th? So definitely contact from them. Wow, that is incredibly unfortunate for them, and I totally missed it. So sorry about that, guys. As Babushka closing in on Figlin, Rogue losing some time to him after that initial first lap battle with Guzman that looks to be continuing ever more as Guzman much faster on those soft tires, much better traction, tries to slide down the inside. Rogue not leaving him any space, a very aggressive squeeze there, and Rogue then losing the rear end on exit after getting a little bit of gravel on those tires, but now he's coming back at him, and he wants to go down the inside of Cops. This is bold. I think it was more just a psych-out move to get Guzman to go off the track, but Guzman, cold as ice, does not crack under the pressure and is in a very good position right now, rounding out the podium. So if he can just keep going, get a distance to Rogue on those medium tires, I think he'll be in for a good position in this race, of course. And Madman not too far behind, and Doth starting on the mediums, not too far behind either. I totally forgot he started on the mediums. That's my bad. So great job from him to get up into 6th position. And again, him and Rogue don't really need to be fighting for positions as Rogue gets past Guzman. They don't really need to be fighting for positions. They just need to let their strategy, they need to stay safe and just let their strategy pan out. As so many changes here, I still can't see the intervals. Now it looks like they're starting to come back to us. And okay, sorry, my mic cut out. And looking down the field, that was Babushka looking for a move on Figlin, but not quite able to get it done, but very close behind him. Guzman very close behind Rogue. Of course, Rogue is in the latter half going to have... Oh, No Name retires from the session. What happened there? Possibly contact with Bacon Sushi, who also looks to be going slow here. So, not sure what happened there, but we have a full safety car. So this really plays into the hands of those soft runners and really punishes Doth and Rogue, who it's too early to pit onto softs. They might have to go onto the hard tires, or they'll probably pit onto the softs but have to make another stop. I don't know what their plan is, or maybe Rogue wants track position, and so is Doth, and I think they'll be 1-2, as this is one of the longer, well, actually, one of the longer pit lanes, but one of the shortest in time in how much it impacts your lap time. So I would assume all the front runners are going to pit in for mediums. They could more than likely make them last to the end. We might even see some hard tires come on, but I'm not entirely sure, as everybody dives it into the pits, including Rogue, who I guess thinks he can either make those softs go to the end, or he's going to opt for the hard strategy and knows that he's not going to get 20 seconds otherwise. As only as my dad, he stays out. He wants the track position. Doth Thou Hoist picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Doth also pitting, so yeah, maybe they can make those soft tires last. We'll just have to see. So only as my dad is going to be our net race leader under the safety car, as he decided to stay out and take that track position on 3-lap-old soft tires. Doth Thou, yeah, it's going to be really confusing to see what tires everybody goes on here as everybody's switching. So as suspected, Figlin, Babushka go onto the medium tires. Guzman mixing it up on the hard tires. Doesn't think he could make the medium tires last to the end. Critical Madman. And then Doth and Rogue all going on to the soft tires. And Rogue entered the pit lane in like third position and comes out first of those who pitted. So the rest got held up, but having that early pit slot, I guess, really helped him out and stopped him from getting held up. So he is now, after pitting, the net race lead here. So we'll just have to see, but of course the race lead on track is only Use My Dad. But we'll see, maybe he might decide to pit this lap. But of course, doing this lap behind the safety car is really going to compromise the strategy and make him lose a lot of time. He might even come out in 10th or 13th now. Alright, and down the field a little bit, also, Doth Thou Hoist retaining his 8th position, but on those soft tires. I think this strategy is going to compromise them quite a bit, as only Use My Dad. Now the entire pack is caught up to him, so if he wants to pit, he missed his opportunity. Now he's going to have to stay out. Okay, and I was incredibly mistaken as he jumps the safety car, overtakes it to go into the pit lane to not receive a penalty, and is going to be pitting, but I think he's going to come out, yeah, in 13th or even last position now. So that's unfortunate for him, probably wishing he would have pitted that first time around, but maybe didn't want to get double stacked with his teammate who was also pitting. So I think this cost him much more time than the double stack would have. But we'll see. As Salas also pits. Guzman, did he just pit again? He did. He pit again for soft tires. So he is now in 14th position. Another, gonna have to... I don't know why. Maybe he got wing damage? I really don't know. So I would assume the safety car is coming in this lap, so we've got our leaders who have caught it. Basically everybody has caught it now, even those who pitted for a second time. And Babushka, basically, Rogue and Doth are the only of the top 10 that are on those soft tires. Really the only people on those soft tires besides for Bacon and Guzman, but they're in the back, so they're going to have a lot of work to do to get back up into contention for the race lead. But everybody else is on mediums, and I think without a shadow of a doubt they can go on to... Oh, right, Guzman went onto the hard tires. And then I think he realized that was going to slow him down quite a bit, so he wanted to pit onto the soft tires and get bunched back up with the field. Maybe that's the right decision, maybe not. But yeah, so I think the mediums, without a shadow of a doubt, can go to the end, and those soft tires are going to be pushing it, especially if he's engaged in, if he's racing with Babushka, Figlin, and Crit, who's up into a brilliant position of 4th place from, I believe, he started like 11th, or? Not sure. Oh, right, that's not the right thing. But yeah, he's up 6 positions, so he started 10th place and is now up into 4th place. So this safety car has played beautifully for him and for his strategy. So yeah, the safety car is in this lap, and Rogue is now the pace car for the field, and he's bunching them up. It's important to not go and then stop. That is formation lap. He needs to keep a consistent pace and then whenever he wants, accelerate up to full speed, as Bacon Sushi picks up a 5-second penalty for severe collision with Only Use My Dad. So running into the back of that racing point. So now it looks like Rogue has gone, and it looks like Babushka not able to challenge him immediately. Figlin not able to challenge him, but Madman has got a really good gap on Critical. Oh no, Babushka runs wide, so he's going to struggle to keep that position from Figlin, as Figlin's going to be looking up the inside for turn 1. Decides better of it, I think, and lifts off a little bit as we go flat out through turn 1. Van Beeth picks up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings as we go down into turn 1. Is Babushka struggling with those tires? Does Figlin have them turned on much faster than Babushka did? And is he going to pay the price ultimately as Babushka runs a bit wide there, but actually is able to get the power down much faster as a result? So I think that kind of balanced itself out in terms of the line Figlin took. But he's got the slipstream. He's gaining quite a bit. He switches to the inside, but he doesn't want to go late on the brakes. Babushka does, and Babushka is going to retain that position. Madman looking for a move on Critical as they go wheel to wheel through here, but Critical edges out on top. Great defensive driving from him to take that inside line and close the door into the next one, as Righteous Fire has recovered up to 6th position after previously being in 1st position and dropping down quite a bit. Doff behind him already making up 1 position up into 7th place on those soft tires. Rogue now has a 1.8 second gap to Babushka. Figlin 5/10 off him, and then Critical 1.5 seconds back to them. Doth Thou Hoist looking for a move on Righteous Fire into Maggots and Beckett's, but Righteous Fire has the inside line, and there's really no denying that. Through Maggots and Beckett's, DRS yet to be turned on. It'll still be another 2 laps before they can use DRS to get past, and now Doth Thou is gaining on Righteous Fire down the hanger straight, and I think he's going to be able to go for a move down the inside here. He's going to have to go late on the brakes because that outside line gives you much more speed in the latter half of the corner, and yeah, Righteous kind of just submits and lets Doth get the position. Not a battle worth fighting while he's on those soft tires. He'll get him back later once those soft tires have worn out, if they wear out. Rogue setting the fastest lap of the race, and Babushka 1.9 seconds back. Figlin 6/10 off him, unable to make a move as of yet. Madman 5/10 off Critical, and Doth Thou now closing in on Madman. Closing in on that fight as Guzman gets past Bob Ross and is now looking for a move on Only Use My Dad and Sandro. Sandro picks up a penalty for multiple warnings. They're cutting the track in turn 1, and so we'll see if Guzman on those soft tires is going to be able to make this move here on the battling Only Use My Dad and Sandro. He goes out a bit wide there, maybe trying to get the power down earlier. Doesn't look like it quite worked, but also he's going to be having a lot of dirty air as we go down whatever this straight is. Sandro moves to the inside to defend. Only Use My Dad moves to the inside for the slipstream. Everybody, Sandro back to the racing line. Guzman looks for a dive down the inside of Only Use My Dad, and he's got that superior traction, but Only Use My Dad's going to run out a bit wider. Tried to close the door, but Guzman hanging it around the outside. If he can get the power down earlier, this position's his. He's going to have the slipstream from Sandro, and I think he has. What a move, as Rogue picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but still has a 2.5 second gap back to Babushka. But if those tires start dying in the latter half, and Babushka's able to rein him back in, that 3-second penalty is going to hurt. Only Use My Dad losing the position to Guzman. Guzman now in the hunt for Sandro. Righteous Fire, 3/10 off Doth Thou Hoist, who is 1/10 off Madman. As he switches to the inside, he's going to be looking for a move, and then subsequently a move on Critical. Critical is struggling on the straight. They're both gaining on him like crazy, and so Doth Thou goes nice and easy on the brakes, actually loses the rear end a bit there, and that allows Madman to come right back at him, and Critical is going to be loving seeing this. Oh no, Madman, after a little bit of wheel banging, backs off and does not want to challenge Doth Thou Hoist any further, and we've got a VSC, as Madman almost goes into the back of Doth Thou Hoist. He was not expecting him to stop there, as Only Use My Dad goes into the pits under this VSC and gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Wouch. That is no bueno. That's gonna hurt, and yeah, so he looks like the only one to have pit under this VSC, as the VSC is getting ready to end, I believe, from the pace I'm seeing from these guys. Oh, that looked like a corner cut. I thought maybe he'd get like a 10-second penalty or something. Okay, and the VSC is over, and Rogue gained almost 1.5 seconds under that VSC back to Babushka, so Babushka caught out on the restart. Righteous Fire, Madman also caught out on the restart, and so is Doth Thou Hoist, as Righteous has got past both of them, or at least for now he's wheel to wheel with Doth Thou Hoist, but he's got the outside line. That's going to help him get the power down. Of course, those soft tires are also going to help Doth get the power down. It looks like they're about even going into cops. Who is going to yield here? And it looks like Righteous Fire is going to yield. Oh, as Doth Thou Hoist kind of clips a bit of his wing, that would give him a puncture. Critical with a 1-second gap back to them. He's loving seeing this fighting. He just wants to keep this position. Figlin 5/10 off Babushka. Crucially, now with DRS, he opens the DRS, and he's going to be looking for a move down the hanger straight. He's gaining quite a bit. Babushka stays on the outside for defending, does not want to go to the inside. Figlin switches to the inside, breaks late. Babushka squeezes him, but he muscles his way through, not yielding as Babushka goes off the track, and Figlin has got the position. So a late move from Babushka almost forced Figlin onto the grass after Figlin kind of stopped braking, and then broke again. So 4/10 gain for Dothau in that little bit, and 6/10 gain for Righteous, who was all over the back of them still. And Madman, who's fallen off just a bit, but still definitely in the realm of this fight, as Babushka is now 2/10 off Figlin in the battle for second place, as Rogue is now 5.6 seconds. Babushka almost sends it down the inside, would have gotten his wing chopped off from Figlin, who is not wanting to leave him the space, or rather, not submitting to Babushka's trickery of just trying to psych him out by going down the inside. So that little move has actually compromised Babushka on the straight, and he's not going to be able to get the move done, even with DRS. So Figlin securing that second position. Now as we run down the field a little bit, Dothau with that DRS is closed up onto the back of Critical incredibly fast on those soft tires, and so Critical is going to be struggling to keep him behind on those much faster tires. But again, we don't know if or when those soft tires are going to die, and Critical has got just a bit more, but still more energy than Dothau Hoist. Righteous Fire also still very much in the mix for that position, and Babushka gonna struggle to stay behind Figlin through Maggots and Beckett's with that dirty air. But it looks like he gets a better run through Maggots, not so much through Beckett's, and then Chapel. Yeah, he's struggling to stick with him, but this DRS should help if he saves energy and deploys it later in the lap. And he does look like he's in more of a saving mode as Doth now with DRS, and Righteous also with DRS. Righteous backs off, doesn't want a part of it. Critical defends the inside. Doth tries to go around the outside, touches the grass a little bit, and I think he's got it cleaner on the outside, and so does Righteous Fire. So Critical losing 2 positions in one corner because of DRS as Rogue sets again the fastest lap of the race. It looks like those soft tires were the right call. He's able to just keep blasting away on those soft tires, and he's only going to have three. Oh, as Critical goes over that curb, which you do not want to go over. And Righteous Fire. Yeah, okay, so sorry, a 3.2 second gap back from Babushka to Doth. So Babushka's in a good position to keep that podium position, and he's going to try to get second place from Figlin if, well, I guess maybe he doesn't want it. We'll see. As Figlin gets a much better exit out of, I think that's Village, and Babushka unable to respond even with DRS. But Righteous Fire looking for a response on Dothau Hoist to make up whatever he can after the debacle of whatever happened lap 1 with him and Sandro, dropping him and Sandro from 1st and 2nd respectively down to 11th and 13th. Bob Ross picked up a 3-second penalty for corner cutting, I would assume. He is 57 seconds off Van Beets. Only Use My Dad is only 1/10 off him. Or, yeah, so he's going to be looking for a move with DRS. I think he's got it pretty safely as he was already that close. We've got a yellow flag somewhere, which is unfortunate. Yeah, Only Use My Dad gets that position. Van Beets gets past Bacon Sushi, who looks to be struggling, or that's just the audio glitch. I think that's just the audio glitch. Rogue now with a 7.8 second gap back to Figlin. Babushka fallen out of that DRS range. Of course, he still has DRS, but in the next sector or section with DRS, if he doesn't close that gap, he's not going to have it. Righteous Fire maintaining that 5/10 gap, so either Dothau's tires are falling off or Righteous is just pushing really hard on his. Regardless, I think Righteous is going to have this position, especially with the wear patterns on those soft tires in the 25% races. I think it's a stretch to get them 9 laps and have them just as effective as medium tires of the same age. So if Righteous can stick behind him now, and he's probably already struggling with his tires, I think he's got him. Doth actually closing 1 second to Babushka, though, in that last lap, but net not losing any time to Figlin, who is also on his own gained a second on Babushka. So Babushka struggling to keep with Figlin, falling completely out of DRS at this point, and now Doth is going to try to reel him in. Another 3/10, another 4/10 there. Righteous Fire falling back just a bit on the straight, but he was probably saving. No, he wasn't. He was in mode 4. And Madman's going to be looking for a move on Critical. So Critical up into 4th after the safety car restart, down into 6th, and might even lose to 7th as Rogue picks up a second 3-second penalty now. So that just makes the gap back to Figlin 2.4 seconds. So if he doesn't keep this gap, or if his tires fall off and Figlin keeps punching in the lap times, Figlin could very well win this race. It just depends. Yeah, it depends on those soft tires, again, how they last and what kind of pace they can do on them at the end. So Madman getting a little bit loose through Beckett's and very deep and loose through Chapel, so I don't think he's going to be able to pass him on this straight. Righteous Fire, yeah, still on the back of Dothau Hoist, waiting for those tires to fall off, as Doth has totally reeled in Babushka and Figlin almost an entire second this lap, and in turn Righteous. So Righteous could be looking for a podium here if there's an accident, or if, yeah, we will have to wait and see what happens, as Guzman now behind his teammate. Oh, just got a very bad exit out of that, and he's pitting again. He has massive wing damage after apparently hitting another wall. So that's unfortunate. Only as my dad picks up a 3-second time penalty for speeding as he goes wheel to wheel and gets past Bob Ross for 14th position. Rogue 9.4 seconds, so still gaining time even on those worn soft tires. I think he's got the race win at this point, unless he's barring a major mistake from him. Dothau, his gains on Babushka have kind of stagnated just a bit. Righteous Fire as well, but we've still got 2 laps remaining, so anything can happen, especially when tire strategy comes into it. So Babushka, 1.2 seconds off. I think Figlin is secure in that second position. He's driven an incredibly consistent and good race, and so he definitely deserves that podium. Babushka trying to maintain that final podium position, but he is going to be under fierce opposition in these closing 2 laps of the race, as now Righteous and Doth are both in turn inside of his DRS, but Babushka actually, I thought maybe he got the DRS on Figlin, so Dothau is going to be sending it, but he is in mode 0, so he's just saving, as we've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Bacon Sushi retires somewhere. I think that's what that is. Hopefully there's no VSC to stop the racing on this last lap, as Dothau has got 52% energy to Babushka's 41, so about similar. Of course, Doth actually has DRS, and Righteous falling out of that DRS, so maybe Righteous can't get this position, or either position for that matter. Madman still going to be looking for critical on these DRS straights, so we'll start with Doth now and see what he can do to Babushka. He just has so much more grip through turn 1, able to take it flat. Well, they should both be taking it flat, but it seems like he's able to just get a much better launch, and so now, with a bit of a switchback, Doth gets a far better exit. Well, the second phase of the exit actually goes to Babushka, but regardless, don't think it's going to be enough for DRS. Babushka is going to try to defend to the inside, but I think Doth is going to be fully passed and clear. He is. Now we'll look to Madman and Critical. Critical swoops to the inside to defend, closes back to squeeze Madman a little bit, leaves him the room at the end. Oh, and they collide, and Critical's gone spinning, and Madman also able to catch a drift, but Critical now going to lose the position to Sandro, maybe? No, able to keep it on track, so in turn didn't lose too much as long as he doesn't lose this position to Sandro. That's unfortunate. You hate to see it, but at least he didn't lose any more positions, as Doth is even looking for a move on Figlin as they come up to lap the rest of these guys. But Doth is going to be within the DRS of Figlin. Can he get this? Can he get the second position? And Figlin's going to have to settle for third position. No! Figlin gets the DRS from the back markers, and I think that's going to be enough to help him maintain the second position. Babushka, 1.4 off. Righteous Fire goes down the inside and gets fully past Babushka. Looks like he even let off there. That was a major closing speed difference as Critical, as now Sandro looks for a move on Critical around the outside, closes back to the inside, and he's going to have the position. Critical can do nothing with those tires after a spin. Wow, he is not going to be happy with Madman there. Dothau Hoist picks up a 5-second penalty, and that's going to promote Righteous back up into the podium position. Critical picks up a 3-second time penalty. Hopefully that doesn't cost him any further position. So Rogue is our F25, round 5, or round 6, whatever, race winner for the 25%, so we'll see what he can do in the 5-lap from the last place on the grid. Figlin second to last, Righteous third to last. Righteous, a great recovery drive from him. Dothau, a great drive from him in general. That speeding in the pit lane cost him in the end, cost him that podium position. Babushka settles for 5th. Madman, a great 6th position. Critical, still a good race, getting 3 positions, and yeah, actually keeping that position from Sandro, who had loads of penalties, so a good job from him. He's not going to be happy with Madman, though. And so now Guzman going to be 12th position, the last across the line. And so he's going to be in a great position for the 5-lapper, so we'll see what he can do there. So that is our finishing order for the 25%, and in turn, our starting grid from back to front for the 5-lapper, also in Silverstone. So we're going to have to wait for the grid to be remade. That'll be about 5 minutes, but make sure you stay tuned for the action-packed 5-lapper to decide who gets the points from first to 8th, and I don't remember the point values because I'm a good caster. All right, welcome back, everybody, or just myself welcoming back. 10 out of the 16 drivers are ready, 11 out of the 16, but we are going to start the session in about 15 seconds. Oh boy, that's not the right thing, and my controller is now disconnected. Yeah, and so we're about to start the crazy 5-lapper, which, at least in Singapore, and definitely in Brazil, was just, if not way more entertaining than the 25. Oh my god. Sorry about that. I didn't realize my phone was on. That is going to be a young my bad. Anyways, yeah, here we go. So there should be no formation lap. We should just get right into the action here in Silverstone for round 6. I did find the title, so it is round 6. So we're making progress here at ARC. It's round 6. Bacon Sushi has left the session, and it looks cloudy, but I doubt there's going to be any rain, or we'd already see it. Won't have time to affect the race. Would have loved to see a wet race. You'll love to see it, but unfortunately we are not going to get that today. Alright, so in 20 seconds everybody will be, I was going to say teleported to the grid, but they're already on the grid. We're just looking at the pit lane because Codemasters. And yeah, the lights will go on, then they will subsequently go out, and then 6 to 7 minutes of incredible carnage will commence. So let's get ready. We've got Rogue starting at the back of the grid. Same with Righteous Fire and Figlin And leading us off, I actually have no idea on the order. So the lights are on. The lights are out, and we are racing. Guzman, only use my dad, sorry, starting from pole. Guzman in second position, able to get an equal start with him on the run down into turn 1. Are they going to go wheel to wheel? Looks like Guzman's going to have the position as, oh no, only use my dad gets it. And that's another McLaren sideways. That's going to be Solace spinning out into the wall. Kublai making up a few positions. No Name losing it into the gravel. Oh, back into the wall. Rogue in 9th position. Righteous Fire doing a phenomenal job getting up to 5th position there, as in front of him Rosefest goes a bit wide, and it's going to squeeze him there, almost 3 wide there. Whoa, Rosefest goes onto the grass, and now Madman has got a phenomenal run on all 3 of them, but he's going to back out. He's going to allow Righteous to have it. Sandro goes super deep into the corner. Righteous looking for a switchback on him, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it as Sandro's got his car in the perfect position there. Guzman 6/10 off pole, or I guess pole. Off first position, Babushka almost a second back from him with all this fighting, and Rogue down in 9th position. I think he's got wing damage. Yeah, I think no, he looks good. So maybe just getting a tough start. Critical 1/10 off Rosefest as we go in to Maggots and Beckett's. Not able to do anything rationally. Yeah, not much to go for there. Surprisingly less first. Oh, and I missed it, but Figlin DNF'd. That's unfortunate. And Bacon Sushi is glitched in the pits after leaving the session from the grid. Rogue able to close that gap down to Critical, who has now lost a bit of time to Rosefest as it is so hard to follow through Maggots and Beckett's because you really need that downforce, and that dirty air really punishes you. As Sandro closed the gap to Babushka. And Guzman closing the gap to Only Use My Dad, as Only Use My Dad sets the fastest lap of the race. Guzman not able to get him on the start, even though he was about equal with him. Can he get him the first time they go through whatever the Wellington Straight? Boom! Got it. That's what it is, I'm pretty sure. That's either... Wait, that might be the one to Cops. I don't know. We will see if Guzman is able to overtake. Of course, he's not going to have DRS until they come around one more time. And so next time, next lap, he will have DRS. And that should help him get past Only Use My Dad as Righteous Fire falls back from Sandro. Sandro looking for a move on Babushka, but unable to do anything. Critical getting past Rosefest. So is Rogue. So does Rogue. And now Rogue looking for a move on Critical. Around the outside here, he's going to look for a switchback possibly as he lets Critical's car go by, and now he's going to get on the power earlier, but he's struggling with the traction. Critical also goes onto the gravel a little bit, and that's going to compromise his exit, so they're about even as we come into Cops here. Rogue, bit too far back to do anything, might even try something through Maggots and Beckett's if he gets that much better of a run, as Critical loses that front end, not really gripping. I think that might not be high enough roll bars on the front for a 5-lapper. I have no idea. Critical, yeah, struggling through Maggots. Beckett loses the car a bit, and Rogue taps him, and is just going to go right on through. Critical allows him past, but now Rosefest having a sniff. Oh, as up the field, Guzman, unable to make the move, actually. Just saw the gap there, so still following. Has a great amount of ERS, and Babushka runs wide, but able to reel them in a little bit, too. So good job from him. Sandro, all of them keeping that gap pretty much where it was, and Rogue, 2.3 seconds off Madman, 1.4 seconds off Righteous. And so Babushka sets the fastest lap. Righteous Fire setting the fastest lap of the race all the way from 5th position. So he is absolutely flying to make up those positions. And sorry, I should have the position changes here. Babushka up 6 positions from the start. Righteous Fire also up 6 positions. Dothau sets the fastest lap of the race down in 11th, but in the clean air. So much easier for him than it was for Righteous and Sandro. And so now, Guzman with the DRS is going to be looking for a move on... no, he's saving. So he wants to get this move done at the end and not allow Only Use My Dad to have the DRS. Sandro looking for a move on Babushka, but Babushka able to defend with the DRS of his own. Righteous Fire, in turn, the same for Sandro. So, yeah, kind of a DRS train going on here as Madman is too far back for the DRS. Rogue too far back from his DRS. Critical in the DRS of Rogue. Rosefest falling out of the DRS of the others. So Righteous Fire 2/10 off Sandro as we go through here. He loves to punt people in Cops. He decides better of it this time around. I'm sure we'll see one of those later on. It's the Righteous special. Sandro able to retain the position through Maggots and Beckett's, but now onto this DRS straight, we will have yet again another DRS train. Rogue picks up a 2-second penalty for exceeding track limits. So Only Use My Dad. Oh, Guzman got... Oh my god. Okay, don't know how I missed that. Guzman did get past Only Use My Dad. But now Only Use My Dad with the DRS was very close to fighting back as Guzman goes super off the track. Babushka, the rest of the top 5 keeping their position, so now Guzman is leading us off. As Righteous almost taps Sandro there into the penultimate corner, as now we go around once again through the flat-out section of Turn 1. We're going to be looking for who's going to be able to get past with DRS down the Wellington Straight. I really hope that's the name of it. And, yeah. Pretty big gap back to Madman and subsequently Rogue. but Rogue has closed into the DRS of Madman as somebody got a bit loose there. That looked like Babushka and Sandro going for the inside, as now Only Use My Dad with that DRS is probably going to be able to get back past Guzman and try to hold that position for a second time as Guzman defends to the inside and now back to the outside, leaves no room for Only Use My Dad, who had nowhere to go there. That's a bit of a late move from Guzman, and that really blocked Only Use My Dad and almost forced him onto the grass as Sandro now following behind, and yeah, again, just pretty much the same as Rogue, gets past Madman there. And Madman picks up a 2-second penalty for track extension. So, Righteous Fire all over the back of Sandro, but he can't seem to get a better exit than Sandro through Maggots and Beckets, or Cops for that matter. And so, unable to really challenge for that position. Only Use My Dad picks up a 2-second penalty for multiple warnings, so he's going to be off the podium as it stands now unless everybody else gets one. So that's unfortunate. Guzman goes onto the grass quite a bit there. That's going to slow him down. So now Only Use My Dad with DRS, I think, is going to be able to pass him as Guzman got a horrible exit. Looks for the inside, goes to the outside. Guzman leaves him the space this time around, and I think he's got the position. Yeah, he goes clean around the outside. Righteous Fire way too far back to make a move on Sandro, and ditto that for Sandro on Babushka. Guzman still right on the back of Babushka, or on the back of Only Use My Dad and Babushka, right on the back of him. However, again, Only Use My Dad has got that 2-second penalty. Guzman doesn't want to be held up, actually makes contact with the back, not wanting to let off. Looks to the inside, but I think he's going to let him have the position. Not that Only Use My Dad would be required to leave him space there. Sandro picks up a 2-second penalty, so as of now, Only Use My Dad will be in 4th position, because Sandro's going to drop too. So Guzman losing the position to Only Use My Dad, who goes down the inside, and Babushka taps him and gets a horrible exit, and he's now going to lose the position to Sandro and possibly Righteous. Nope. Yeah, but he doesn't have DRS, or he did. He just didn't open it, and Righteous Fire now down the inside, looking for this move to get up to 4th position after Babushka made heavy contact. He makes contact with Babushka, spins into him again, and he is fully round. He's fully round, but he's able to save it. Babushka able to keep it on the track, so a good job from both of them. Righteous losing the rear, hitting Babushka, and then hitting him again. I'm glad nobody got fully spun. Just a little bit of time lost. Guzman looking to return the favor back to Only Use My Dad. As, can't quite do it, but getting super close through Cops. That's along Sandro all over the back. Sandro might even look for a move into Maggots and Beckets. As Only Use My Dad is slow. Guzman looks for a move, and he squeezes. Guzman just pushes Sandro off the track. As Rogue picks up another 2-second penalty. Guzman himself almost going 4 wheels off the track, forcing Sandro entirely 4 wheels off the track. There was no space there. And so now Guzman looking for a move on Only Use My Dad. Down the inside, he's going to have the position, but he would have had it anyways on penalties. This is the last lap here at Silverstone. So when they cross the line, that should be our order, barring penalties. And so Babushka going to be up in 2nd position. I think doesn't need to go for this move, but wants to anyways. The Babushka special Righteous Fire getting past Rogue. Up 7 positions, Rogue up 8 positions, but has 4 seconds penalties, so he's going to drop. Guzman wins the race. Righteous Fire rounds out the podium. Only Use My Dad going down to 4th position. Madman up to 5th position after Rogue's penalties. Critical unable to retain that 6th position, and Rosefest jumps him as well up into 7th position. Sandro all the way down into 9th position, with Dot Hoy setting the fastest lap of the race and finishing in 11th position. Wouch. Okay, so we saw some questionable driving from our leader here, Guzman, who forced another driver off the track almost twice, but a phenomenal recovery drive from him. Or, no, he started 2nd. Well, a good win from him. Great job. Great defending most of the corners. Was able to use the DRS to his advantage and keep and retain those positions. And then making, of course, a last lap, pretty much last corner pass. Babushka up 7 positions. Righteous Fire up 8th to round off the podium. Phenomenal driving from these guys. I'm sure they're going to be very happy with that 5-lapper. So, thank you everybody for watching. This has been round 6 of the F25 ARC series in Silverstone, and the 5-lapper that succeeded it. So, thank you everybody for watching. Stay tuned tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern for our Tier 2 race, and I believe that is going to be in a destination of which Formula 1 races, and that is as specific as I can be. But we're pretty close, as the championship leader left Tier 2 to move up to Tier 1, so it's pretty much open season for the championship, so make sure you stay tuned and watch that battle unfold. Thank you guys. This has been Twin Tucker reporting for ARC.